My name is Amy Rose. I'm Head of Ops at Blockchain Australia, and I've been there for about 3.5 years. My passion is beyond blockchain, beyond our emerging technologies, and basically sci-fi themed technologies. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome, I guess, to the next Big Bang. So today I'm going to explore the most profound and transformative technologies that are going to emerge when our current nascent technologies and the ones that we currently call emerging technologies reach their full potential and eventually converge. So at the moment, we are standing at the cusp of a technological revolution. And we've been through many revolutions, but this one is becoming increasingly clear that the most exciting and transformative innovations are going to happen when our technologies start to work together and leverage from each other. And so these technologies are blockchain, artificial general intelligence, the Internet of Things, virtual reality, brain-computer interface technologies, quantum, light technology, extended reality, all of the technologies that I guess people are saying are about 10, even 20 years away. My speech today is about what is going to happen when each of these leverage and form brand new technologies that we can't even imagine. So I'm going to go back to when I was a child, and it wasn't that long ago, believe it or not, to me anyway. I'm still young at heart. I'm grateful to have lived as a child that didn't have a computer in my pocket. And if you think back to the technologies that you had, and the first technologies that you remember, it might have been a toy, TV, video game, or wireless, which was actually a radio. My grandma called it before it was, I guess, internet in the air. So we are accustomed to the release of new technologies, and we've come to expect it. In the past, though, we were quite afraid of new technologies, and we sort of are at the moment if we think of Black Mirror and those types of scenarios. But it wasn't that long ago, I guess, when people were afraid of the fax machine sound. So when the fax machine first came out and it was popping out paper, and I guess that's when you associate new technologies with magic. It was making beeping sounds, and now in our lives, every single device we have beeps at us and yells at us. And it is a bit annoying, but it's part of life now. So over time, we've been accustomed to allowing technology into our lives, and our attitude towards it has now changed. We actually can't imagine living without it, and we rely on our phones and our computers in our pocket to do pretty much everything for us. And we've come so accustomed to it that, yes, we expect it, but if a website doesn't have an app, or if a business doesn't have a website or an app, we are likely to dismiss it and actually disregard it and think that they're probably not as good as everyone else and irrelevant, really. So we are expecting now that everything is faster, more efficient, and more intuitive, to the point where even though we don't want our devices listening to us, and we don't want our those ads to come up and then we get this creepy feeling that it's been listening to us, we still want at the same time for our technology to be intuitive with every single new release. And it doesn't really matter if it doesn't immediately solve all our problems, because we know that there's going to be a release that will quite soon. So we need to, I guess, even though we're hesitant we were hesitant to adopt new technologies in the past, and the fact that we can't get enough of them now, we now are at the point where our technology developers are responding to industry and human demand, really, where everything has to be smart, connected, and automated. We want our homes to be filled with smart devices that respond to every command. And I remember being at my friend's house when I was a child, and she had one of those lamps where you would clap twice and the lights would come on. And I thought that she was a millionaire. I thought she must have had everything because she had this automated light. But now it's like pretty boring, and my kids don't even care less about being able to say something into a computer and make it happen. So it is funny how things have changed, but in a really small amount of time. If you think about the thousands of years humans have been evolving, and the last couple of decades or so where everything has sped up so incredibly fast. So over the next 5 years or 10 years, and in a pinch, probably 20 years, we're going to see a bunch of technologies reach their peak and global adoption at exactly the same time. And we haven't seen this before. It's where all of these technologies are essentially going to be perfected. They'll just be in the background of our minds. They won't even be a thing. IoT, artificial intelligence, it'll become whatever. Let's talk about the next big thing. But what's going to happen while they're evolving simultaneously, siloed and not talking to each other, when they reach that point where one technology developer is going to reach out to someone who they've never spoken to before. So someone who is dabbling in blockchain might speak to someone who is also dabbling in artificial intelligence, and they just decide, our technology is pretty basic now and your technology is pretty basic now, let's do something together. And it's from there that amazing things, pretty spectacular things, are actually going to be born. So if we just take a little bit of a step through all of the different technologies, and I'm only going to take a selection of the ones that we know. So I'm not going to go into some of those more science and physics-based technologies that will eventually lead to things like, and don't call me a crazy person, but time travel and invisibility cloaking, and mining on different planets. But I'm just going to start with some of the basic tech, and I say basic, but blockchain. So it's distributed ledger. It enables smart and transparent transactions, transparent, traceable security. It will essentially revolutionize various industries, and I'm going to say probably every industry. And then we have artificial general intelligence, and that technology, look, the conversations are, well, they were last year, when we're not even at, an impressive level of AI at the moment. We're not going to have artificial general intelligence anytime soon. That's all changed now. And to make the assumption that it's still going to be 20 years away, I think puts us as humans in a position where we're not planning appropriately for what can come. Artificial general intelligence, if it reaches its full potential, when it reaches its full potential, it's going to transform everything, transportation, manufacturing, and it's going to create a world where machines, humans, technology operate autonomously, which is essentially what humans are craving for. They want that automation. They want that time saving. So every time a product developer or a technologist decides to build something, they're building it because there's a demand. And if there's a demand for something, it's going to happen sooner than a technology that basically doesn't solve the problem. So then we have the Internet of Things. And I mean, it's already a thing. It's already embedded into all of our lives. It's relying on our phones that talk to our refrigerators, that talk to our car, eventually. And I think we already are automating grocery deliveries based on what's in your fridge. And so IoT, when coupled with other technologies, is going to, and it's only a couple of years away till that happens, so definitely not, that 10-year mark. Then we have virtual reality. Now, virtual reality and artificial intelligence, they've got the same birth, around the same birth time, from my understanding. I could be wrong, but they've been around for, since the 1950s or 60s, the first iteration, the first thought. been around for a long time, and it's not an overnight success for AI, and it won't be an overnight success for VR. These things have been in development for a really long time. So when it gets to the point where all of a sudden VR's amazing, which is like what we've seen with ChatGPT and AI, it will obviously, and I'm probably preaching to the choir, it's going to transform gaming and entertainment, and it's going to, its tentacles will spread to education and healthcare and even therapy. So the next logical step to virtual reality is the brain-computer interface technology. I have a startup called Cortex. I'm not going to go on a tangent there, but we're building a brain-computer interface headset. And so I've been, over the past 3 years, building this startup and this headset. And what I can tell you is that communication between the brain and machines is already happening. And we already have neurofeedback therapy. And at the moment, it's embedded into the healthcare system rather than any other industry. But that will soon move out of medical industry, like many of our technologies do. They start somewhere and they end up seeping in. And so that's when our brain-computer interface headsets, our virtual reality, artificial intelligence, all of those things will start to merge together. And gaming is going to be huge. Those immersive environments, I guess we've got the first iteration today, and we're meeting this way. But then we've got, and I said I wasn't going to talk about the science and physics and those types of intersections, but light technology, phototronics and optoelectrics, and also near-infrared light, which is what we're using for our brain-computer interface headset. It will transform absolutely telecommunications and medical imaging, and obviously move out of that so we have that instant communication. And yes, in our minds we have instant communication, but it's actually not as instant as I think we will see in the future, if you can even imagine that. Then with all that in mind, and we can think about all of those technologies that will essentially become, boring soon. My concerns are that, A, we haven't thought about how we're going to respond, regulation and frameworks and ethics and that sort of thing. But I in the back of my head, I'm worried about that. I have no idea how to tackle that. But to start with, we need to think about the positive impacts. What's going to happen when IoT, VR, and the BCRs, light technology, all of those intersect? And what will our world look like when machines learn and adapt automatically? And basically, humans, I think, will still have jobs, but what happens? What's the world going to look like? And are we going to live in virtual environments and in the real world simultaneously or part-time? So one of the things that we can look forward to, and I think this goes without saying, is that efficiency and that automation. The integration of these technologies are going to make processes and tasks more efficient and quicker, and we'll have decisions made for us. And I don't know if Black Mirror's done an episode on this, but there is, I think, the possibility that artificial intelligence might do a better job at governing countries than humans, given that, well, I guess if they are taught in the right way, they won't have any conflicts of interest. So, and they will make it based on all the facts available at the time. So there's, I talked about that being a positive, but that could also be a negative, and how to switch that off and stop that government making decisions as a computer. But anyway, we'll have improved access to information and services, enhanced communication and collaboration. We do have an open network to the rest of the world if our government allows us to have access to different platforms. But the ability to join someone in their home because you have a pad or a mat that it allows you to project upwards and be in your physical form, albeit just with light, is going to transform how we collaborate and work remotely. But then we've also got to think about the security and privacy, and if we do blockchain right, if other technologies decide to have conversations with blockchain, and we're already seeing it anyway, but we will have that secure, those secure platforms and that additional privacy. And look, one of the things I'm really, really looking forward to is the advancements in healthcare and the ability for artificial intelligence or brain-computer interface technology to be able to recognize illnesses and diseases and be able to diagnose based on what it's seeing in your human body. So the advancements, the cures is what I'm super, super excited about. And when we understand brain-computer interface technology as well, because it maps the brain, it tells you what's firing at what time, what's a weakness in your brain at that time when you're reading a book or you're learning science, or you're a child in class and you're sort of tapping out because it's really, really boring. When we have brain-computer interface technology that is not invasive, I'm all for non-invasive BCIs, but that will speed up the development of AI as well, and those neural networks, and understanding how the brain works, and I guess copying and pasting it. And that's as simple as I can put it, but it's obviously a little bit more technical than that. My issues, though, I guess, with the emergence of all these technologies and the intersection that we're about to see, is that security element. If it's not done right, we will be existing, and we can expect that, and we can already see it in our younger children, that we will be existing in a virtual world and a physical world. And that means we basically double the risk of a cyber attack, or your ID or your personal details being compromised. So if you can imagine that you create your your avatar, and you assign all of your details there. If you decide that you want to have a job over in the metaverse, at one of the biggest, amazing, most not even invented yet metaverses, you still need to have your personal, they still need to know who you are. Well, I assume that they will. So you will have these duplicating, and I think that it's going to be something that we probably need to tackle as soon as possible. And I only thought about this, and I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, because there are certain things. My children game all the time. They both have their big gaming setups, and they play with adults at times. And I just thought, why can't we have ID associated with a human being, so that it would say how old you are, and that anyone over the age of 18 or a particular age, whatever you decide, can't interact, rather than hoping and trying to put in all these measures like a band-aid to try and stop that from happening. So if digital IDs are associated, particularly with online avatars, I think we could start there. It's a little bit of a murky waters when it comes to our real life on planet Earth digital IDs. But yeah, that's a consideration. And obviously I touched on the ethics as well, and all of the concerns. One of the big things, I think I might be running out of time, so I'll finish up soon, sorry. One of the things I'm really concerned about is that inequality and that access to technologies. Let's just say that you've decided that you would like to enhance your brain power or your capabilities or your learning speeds, and you can have maybe a couple of little different sensors placed on your scalp, or just like a piercing placed just under the hair there. And you decide, okay, I'm going to speed up my brain power, and I'm probably going to get this job because obviously I'm better than the person who doesn't have that upgrade. So I am concerned about when those upgrades become the norm. And for those people who already have a disadvantage financially, might not be able to access those. And so my concern is that the divide, that inequality, will grow, and we won't be able to stop it because it will happen so fast, and that divide will be much bigger than what we have. And it will, I mean, we've learned about the inequalities now, but I don't think it's anything close to the human upgrades that are going to divide in the future. So I was going to talk about some of the things that we can do, but I will leave it for there. I just wanted to share that humans are going to evolve and technology is going to evolve, but the question should be, is it going to happen simultaneously, and is there a risk that we don't keep up with technology? Thank you very much.